Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I've got another interview. This is Allie McGowan from Connecticut. How you doing, Allie?
I'm good. How are you, Kevin?
I'm good. So, we've spoke a few times before, and you're experiencing the same things that I'm experiencing pretty much with remote neuromonitoring. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you want to tell me a little bit about your situation?
Yeah, sure. In 2013, I started to get gang stalked really bad. And by gang stalking, I mean there was black cars following me. I felt as if helicopters were following me. I'm reading actually from a medical paper. It's from the David Lawrence Center, 9/4/2013. It shows that I didn't have any drugs in my system. No drugs, passed my drug test. Basically that my mom had brought me in because I had felt that the legal system and the medical system let me down. That police broke into my house for no reason, causing me paranoia. Okay. If a police officer comes into your house for no reason, I think anybody would be a little paranoid, especially when they can't give you a reason. So they're getting confused, or I was getting anxious of other people, having panic attacks, obsessive thoughts, feels guilty. I haven't dealt with abuse, all this stuff. Just discrediting what I'm saying, that the government is following me. So I thought the government was following me.
Right. A lot of people think that it's the government in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I had the same type of situation somewhat. I had all this stuff start happening, and my mother and my grandmother thought that that I was on drugs or I was going crazy, and they went to a judge and had me committed a couple times. So. I had to go through the evaluations, and it doesn't matter what you tell these people. And they're in the. Now I also had a clean evaluation, and they said that that I didn't have any mental disorders and I required no medication. But at the same time, they're not really hearing about all of this broadcast and remote neuromonitoring, and this is bad business for psychiatrists and psychologists in general. The entire industry. And pharmaceutical companies make a killing off of this type of thing.
Exactly, because the main thing is that I wasn't having mental illness. I was being broadcasted to with artificial telepathy, and that's enough. And gang stalking is enough to make anybody lose their mind. And personally, my opinion is that they want us to be deemed crazy and unfit, so we have no credibility.
Right.
Which is no good. And it sucks when you are hearing things that aren't your own thoughts, and they're not your thoughts, and it's not even the thoughts are in your head. The sound disbursement is as if there's a speaker all the way in the other room. So I'm hearing my dad in the other room. I go in there, there's no one in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how that it's not voices.
Right.
And for psychiatrists to think oh, you're hearing voices. I never got deemed with any of that either, besides post-traumatic stress. But for them to think psychiatrists need to know about EMF broadcasts and people being tortured and whatnot, because Kevin, you're probably the only person out there helping people that are dealing with EMF, because you can't talk to your family, you can't talk to anyone about it. It's pure torture. And we need to figure out what to do to get the links to control our own settings.
Yeah, I agree. But, a lot of people, if they haven't experienced this sort of thing, it is a very unbelievable technology. And some people, if they don't believe that it's possible, there's nothing you can show them that's going to make them start to believe it. I often thought about this, if I was to get access to neuromonitoring, the first thing I would do was gang stalk my mom, just to mess with her a little bit before I went ahead and gave it to her and prove, hey, this is what I've been dealing with, But I would talk to her first with the artificial telepathy and say, hey, what's going on? you know, just to mess with her a little bit. But
Kevin, come
it's been difficult with family and friends, and I've lost a lot of them. You know, and
yeah,
they don't believe in this kind of thing, and that's one thing that targeted people strive for is they want people to believe them because they know they're not crazy and they know that this is really happening, so they want people to believe them. So we all have this burning desire to gain access to the neural monitoring just to prove it to everybody. You know, everybody's trying to record stuff, and it doesn't work that well, and although there is ways to somewhat record it, it's not very easy. It's just, and ultimately the goal is to destroy credibility, and when they target somebody, the goal is to destroy them.
right. Joint sabotage, and yeah, like I just I don't think because you until you know who's behind it, it's hard. Like you feel like everybody's involved in it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
and like you were saying, like it's hard with your family for people that don't go through it to know unless they have physical proof like that or something like that they don't believe that this could even be happening. Like you're not that special. Why would it be happening to you? It's like well,
I've heard that exactly. Like why do you think you're that important?
right, exactly. And so I get heartbroken every day because I spend the paper I was reading to in the beginning of the video was from 2013. We're in 2019. I've been studying, researching nonstop about what is fucking going on, trying to figure it out, like, just to prove to my family, like, I'm not crazy. Like, I didn't, like, someone believe me. Like, I don't know why I just need people to believe, like, that this is really going on. I think it's mainly because I don't want other people to be hurt as well, but I don't know. If I had remote neural monitoring, like, I'd use it for good. I would think that like someone from Anonymous, they can email me at alliemcg89 at outlook.com. That is my email. I'm not afraid. Any hackers can email me, like coding to get the links to this, so we can start controlling our own settings.
Right. Right. Well, I believe that everyone should have access to their own neural monitoring, and if we don't have it, then who does? Because we know it exists. So even if they turn it off, we know that they have it, and all these gang stalkers know the same thing. So it's going to be a problem that we're just going to have to face in the future. I feel like as easily as gang stalkers using this technology can destroy somebody's life, it's comforting to me to know that when I get this information out there, that people that learn about this before it destroys their life, it can really stop a lot of the damage. And I've found that to be a good thing, and a lot of people are grateful that they found these videos and other targeted people that are talking about it. So I think it's a good idea that we continue to talk about it and spread the word, because if I would have had people to explain it to me when this started happening years ago, then a lot less damage would have occurred.
Right. Yeah, because you've been shot at, you've had a lot of stuff going on.
Right. Well, just the broadcast in general, just to be seeing holograms and having people talk to you that aren't there, that are somewhere else, and and all of this happening is so mind blowing, and for a while I'm getting gang stalked, and I don't have a job, and my family thinks I'm crazy, and I'm isolated, and I'm broke, and the police, I'm calling the police about stuff, and they don't believe me, and it's just a bad situation. And I found that most targeted people go through that in the beginning until they learn how to deal with this amazing technology.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if I already know how to deal with the technology yet because I don't have it, and every day is a battle without the technology because, like you said, if you don't have it, someone else does. So every day for me, like today, I'm having an okay day. I'm not in that much pain. Some days I feel my mouth tastes like when I had hand surgery and they put me under amnesia. I remember the taste of it because I got so sick afterwards. Like I just have these tastes of amnesia. I actually learned about the 12 control panel that they do have. And I'm not here to hate on people that have neuromonitoring, do your thing, but there's a control panel, and it's like, I'm not going to go there, but like just every day, like dealing with things that can't be seen. It's almost like God, like believe in God. You can't see him. Here's the Bible about it. Like we can read the Bible and like describe what it's like daily, you know, and to maybe help people better understand. But most people, sadly, I don't mean to be negative, but they don't care to understand. They don't care to understand themselves. How are we going to get them to care about us? And the only way we can do that is by helping each other that care about each other, I guess. But everything's so infiltrated and whatnot that if you're not doing your study and your research on your own, it's almost hard to collab. And if you're dating someone like my ex, like we talked about like the dad apps before when I figured that out or whatever, and like if I just feel like everybody I'm dating is using me for $29.95, like, and I have a lot of time loss, and I have legal documents proving I was in facilities that I have no recollection of, and this was just in 2018, and they do actually transcranial magnet therapy. Since the transcranial is used as a therapy, it's being done. So I was connected to a computer interface, not even knowing it, and learned about it through my legal documents, and I'm wondering why my family didn't tell me about it. So, like, I kind of feel like my family is involved, but I'm not sure, you know, and I can't point the finger, and I don't know who to be mad at, but I'm mad, and I just wish they knew how bad they were hurting people.
Right. Well, you know, I want to mention something that you said a little while ago. Like they would be using your dad's voice, and I meant to say it then, but if they're using your dad's voice, then that would mean that he would have to be on neural monitoring, because that's the only way. You have to be in the system to be in the system. So they've used voices of some of my family members and my friends, and it's because the same girl that has me on remote neural monitoring also has a lot of my friends and family on remote neural monitoring, and that's typical. If you're on it, then the people around you are going to get put on remote too, so they'll be able to use those type of settings.
But how did they get his signature frequency? How did they scan him in?
Well,
like,
by location, because he's obviously where you are, so it's easy for them to find him. So if they know your location, then they can scan you on, or they may be able to just use their broadcast to go on to that person and do it like that. So
okay. So Kevin, quick question: if I'm say I'm on remote, right? So say I have a little EMF person in my room with me right now, and my dad's in my room with me. Can that little EMF person that's only directed to my EMF frequency, is it able to go to my dad?
See, that's
like because in my range, or
I believe that it is possible for the what they call monitors, the EMF broadcast that they're living virtually as. That may be a way that they can put somebody on remote neural monitoring, is to simply just go onto them with their broadcast, and that is maybe possible, unless that person already had their neural monitoring and they have their settings for no broadcast to be able to come on them. Like these other gang stalkers, the ones that have their neural monitoring, they can control their settings and say, okay, well, I only want to connect to these people, and otherwise their broadcast is not going to be able to come on me. Otherwise, they'd be attacking each other.
How do we stop this? Like, what? Like, I'm trying everything.
Right.
Like,
well, I think the only way is to gain access to our neural monitoring, and there's a lot of people that are starting to have it, so I don't think it's going to be very long before the wrong person gets it, but it is amazing to me. That's one of the most amazing parts about it, which makes me believe that it is the evil paradigm of basically like Satan or something, because so many people have this and they're not giving it up, and I believe it gives them a sense of power and control, and for whatever reason, they're not giving it to people that are targeted.
Okay, so, and people can buy someone's neuromonitoring, right?
Well, if you had me on neural monitoring, then you would possess the profile, that would be like the control panel, and if somebody else wanted my neural monitoring, you could either sell them access or sell them the whole thing.
Okay. I wish people would buy our neuromonitoring and give it to us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one time I offered on my Facebook account, I said I have $100,000 for whoever gives me the neural monitoring, but nobody, and I shared it like a year later too, so that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Nobody said anything. But yeah, I mean, all these gang stalkers that have access to my neural monitoring, they've all done a lot to me, and I think they're careful not to give it to somebody who isn't evil like them. You know, because if somebody has the mindset that maybe it's not a good idea to rape or be a pedophile or torture people or take advantage or be like that, then, because they can easily see how your mind works before they decide to give it to you or not.
So they only want evil people to have it?
Well, I think they only want people to have it that won't give it up and make all of them prison inmates for doing what they do to people.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think they're protecting themselves by making sure that they don't give it to the wrong people. But
that's
you would have to think that somebody's going to figure it out. And I think that, with the work that I've done, and then the word that I've spread around, and you've started working on stuff too, and Facebook and Instagram is a big part of what they do, and making apps, and you brought the Tap app thing to my attention, and I've seen stuff about that before where they use other apps and link the neural monitoring to that, and they can put that app, the APK, into Android Studio and alter the app and write the neural monitoring right into it. And I've witnessed people using the Facebook app, the weather app within Facebook app, to access their own neural monitoring, and that's how they do it in a lot of cases. So they pass those apps around instead of the neural monitoring. That way they can still have a lock on them.
I'm going to interrupt you, but how do you pass the app? Oh, you develop it, then they download it.
Right. Well, see, I could just share the app with you in a file transfer, and it's not going to, like, if you go on Google, you can search for apps that are not officially in the Play Store. You can search for apps, and what you'll get is the APK file. So you have to go in your settings and enable unauthorized apps from a non-authorized developer or something like that. So once you enable that, then you can get any app you want from anybody you want, but you have to be careful because a lot of them will be spyware or malware or something like that. So I love how you're always taking notes.
I know, Kevin, this is all just from, I won't go into it. This is all like, this is whatever. I get it so frustrated though, because I feel like I have to catch it when it's live, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's hard. I've even gone to hotels, thinking that it was I was like, they have a code. That means it's their code being streamed through here, and since I'm in a hotel, there will be a live stream. And I can almost tell though, I look at everything differently now. Like houses that have a bunch of cars at them, I'm like, yeah, they're all just on the headset. And I'm not hating. I just want to stop people from controlling me.
Right, I understand. Well, listen,
are we done?
Well, I'm running out of time here, so we got about 30 seconds. But that's why you're on the team, because first time I spoke with you, you had a good understanding of things, and you understand how this works, and I think that it's good that we work together. So do you have anything you want to plug in before we go off?
No plugs, just thanks for everything you're doing, and you opened up doors to things I didn't see, and I appreciate you.
All right, everybody. Allie from Connecticut.
Yeah.